study the urinary bladder, which is also the part of the excretory system. Now, urinary bladder is a temporary storehouse of the urine. It get emptied through urethra. It is also the reservoir of the urine. External urethral sphincter proximally placed in the wall of the urethra. Male urethra, the function of the male urethra, that is the urination and ejaculation, but in the female the function of the urethra is only, that is the urination. Now we see here this is the urinary bladder, which is the reservoir of the urine, and these are the opening of the ureter into the urinary bladder, and this is the urethra. In male, the at the neck of the urethra there is a neck of the urinary bladder or the urethra, there is surrounding, that is this gland is prostate gland. It is only in the male. Now, the features of the urinary bladder, that is, it is a muscular reservoir of the urine, lies in the anterior part of the pelvic cavity. It lies into the anterior part of the pelvic cavity, and it has a detrusor muscle which helps in contraction, which helps in contraction rather than peristaltic. It is only the contraction, not a peristaltic. Detrusal muscle which is in the wall, that helps in contraction, not a peristalsis. Now, size, shape, and the position of the urinary bladder. Size, shape, and position varies according to amount of the urine. According to amount of the urine, the size, shape, and position of the bladder is variable. When it empty, it lies into the only into the pelvis. When it empty, it lies into the pelvis. When it is filled and extend up to the abdominal cavity, up to the umbilicus, and even higher, if it extend to the umbilical region, extend up to the umbilical region, umbilicus, and even higher, that is depend upon the filling of the urinary bladder. Empty bladder, which is the tetrahedral in shape, and if it filled, it becomes oval in shape. The tetrahedral, it has the following features. If it empty, it has the following features. Apex, it has the apex. This is the apex. This is apex, and which shows directed forward and gives attachment to the median umbilical ligament, which gives attachment to the median umbilical ligament. Then there is a base. This is the base of the urinary bladder, or fundus, directed backward. Apex directed forward, base directed backward, and neck. This is neck, which is next fixed part, which is the fixed part, and this is the neck, and it has four border, two lateral border. It has two lateral border. This is the lateral border. This is the lateral border, and it has and two lateral border. This one lateral, and there is another lateral border. This is the anterior border. This is the anterior border. Then there is a posterior border. These are the four borders. Now, external features of the urinary bladder, it has, if it is empty, then features are different, and if it is filled with urine, the features is small difference. Empty, it is tetrahedral in shape. It has apex, that is gives attachment median umbilical ligament, base, and it has fixed part, that is neck, and four border, two lateral border, and one anterior border, and also the posterior border. Three surfaces. This is superior surface and inferolateral surface. This is the inferolateral surface. This surface is inferolateral surface. To right inferolateral and left inferolateral surface. These are the features of the tetrahedral shape. If this filled with the urine, it become ovoid shape, and it has the different features, that is apex. Similarly, it has the apex, this is apex, then neck and two surfaces, anterior surface and posterior surface. While it filled with the urine, it become ovoid shape. So the according to shape, it has the apex, that is directed upward and toward the umbilicus, neck directed downward, and two surfaces, anterior surface and posterior surface. These are the external features of the urinary bladder. Then the relations of the urinary bladder. Relation, if we see the relation, then there are the some difference in the male and female relation. Why? Because of there is a female reproductive organs in the female, that is the uterus. There's a small difference in the relation in male and female. Also the prostate is present into the male, it is absent into the female. So the some difference are relations in the male and female. The apex, the common relation, that is it connect to the umbilicus by a median umbilical ligament. You already we have seen here, this is the apex, that is median umbilical ligament. This is the median umbilical ligament, this is apex. We see this is the apex and gives attachment to the median umbilical ligament. From here apex to this ligament goes up to the umbilicus. From the apex it goes up to the umbilicus. Then base is related to the cervix and vagina in female. Base related with the cervix and vagina in female, but in male the base, upper part of base is separate from the rectum by rectovesical pouch, and lower part is related to the seminal vesicle and vasa deferens. If we see here in this diagram, there is a difference showing in different relation of the difference in the male and female. The base which is related to with the rectum, which is separated from the rectum, this is the rectum, and this is the base of the urinary bladder, which is separated each other in male by this fold is rectovesical pouch. This is the rectovesical pouch, and in female this base is related with the this is the cervix and this is the vagina. It is related with cervix and the vagina, and in male it is separated from the rectum by rectovesical pouch. This is the difference in relation of the base of the urinary bladder in male and female. Neck lies 3 to 4 centimeter behind the lower part of the pubic symphysis and pierced by the internal urethral orifice, which is continuous with the neck, pierced by the internal urethral orifice, and which is situated 3 to 4 centimeter behind the pubic symphysis. Superior surface in male, it is in contact with the sigmoid colon and coils of the terminal ileum, but in female it is related with the supravaginal part of the uterine cervix, and peritoneum forms vesicouterine pouch. Now here see this superior surface in male, it is contact with the sigmoid colon and coils of the jejunum. If we see the superior surface, this superior surface is related or separated from the uterus in female by a vesicouterine pouch. This is the vesicouterine, the fold of the peritoneum which form the vesicouterine pouch, which separate superior surface from the uterus. This is the vesicouterine pouch, and in male it is related with the colon, sigmoid colon. This is the difference relation in between the superior and superior surface in male and in female. Now this diagram showing the relations. In male there is a absence of the uterus, so it is comes in contact with the sigmoid colon here, but in between the sigmoid colon and urinary bladder in female there is a uterus. So this difference of changes of relations are in male and female. Now inferolateral surface, they don't have the peritoneum. It is related to the pubis in male and female both. In male and female there is a relation of the pubis in both, and this neck also is related with the prostate gland which surround. This is the prostate gland, here is the neck, and it is related with the prostate which is in only in the male. Then ligaments, there are the any organ have the true and false ligament. True ligament which is the ligament actually for the that organ, and false ligament that is the folds of the peritoneum. True ligament, now the ligament of the urinary bladder, one is the lateral true ligament. Lateral true ligament extend from the side of the bladder to the tendinous arch of the pelvic fascia. It is extended from the side of the bladder to the tendinous arch of the fascia, that is the lateral ligament. Then lateral puboprostatic ligament. Lateral puboprostatic ligament extend from the anterior end of the tendinous arch of pelvic fascia to the upper part of the prostate, that is puboprostatic ligament. Puboprostatic ligament, this is the puboprostatic ligament. Lateral puboprostatic and medial puboprostatic, these are only into the males. Lateral puboprostatic and medial puboprostatic. True ligament, one is the lateral true ligament. This is the lateral true ligament. Then next is the puboprostatic, medial puboprostatic and lateral puboprostatic ligament, that is extended from the medial and laterally from the urinary bladder to the pubic fascia. Then this pubic prostatic ligament are replaced in female by the pubovesical ligament. In female, this medial and lateral puboprostatic ligament are absent, which is replaced by the pubovesical ligament. And next is the median umbilical ligament. We have already seen in the apex that apex is attached by the median umbilical ligament which extend up to the umbilicus. And then posterior ligament, these posterior ligament, these are the true ligament of the urinary bladder. Which are the true ligament? First is the lateral true ligament. Then in only in the male, that is lateral puboprostatic ligament and medial puboprostatic ligament, and only in the female, that is the puboprostatic ligament is replaced by the pubovesical ligament. In female pubovesical and male puboprostatic, and median umbilical ligament and posterior ligament, these are the ligaments of the urinary bladder. True ligament. Then false ligament, that is the fold of the peritoneum. These are the peritoneal fold: median umbilical fold, medial umbilical fold, lateral false ligament and posterior false ligament. These are the false ligament, that is the urinary peritoneal fold which extend on the urinary bladder, that is the false ligament. False ligament and true ligament. False ligament, that is the lateral false ligament, median umbilical fold, medial umbilical fold, lateral false ligament, posterior false ligament. These are the false ligament, four false ligament. And true ligament, lateral true ligament, lateral puboprostatic ligament, medial puboprostatic ligament. Then in female, that puboprostatic ligament are replaced by pubovesical ligament. Then median umbilical ligament, posterior ligament. These are the true ligament. Now the anterior of the urinary bladder. Interior, if we see, take incision and see the interior structure of the urinary bladder, what we see, the empty bladder have the greater part of the mucosa which have the irregular fold. Greater part of the mucosa have the irregular fold due to the loose attachment of the muscular coat. That the mucosa is in empty bladder, this mucosa is loosely attached to the muscular coat, so that's why there are the many irregular folds, and that the small triangular area above base of the bladder has a smooth mucosa, and it is called as trigone. That mucosa at the base of the base, and that's is mucosa becomes smooth, and it is called as trigone. And the internal orifice is directed into the apex of the trigone. Slight elevation on the trigone posterior to the urethral orifice is called as uveal vesicae. Base of the trigone is formed by the intrauterine ridge or bar of Mercier. If we see this in the interior, we take the incision and see the interior, what we can see, the mucosa of the empty bladder is thrown into the manifold because of the loose attachment of the muscular coat, and at the base there is this mucosa is smooth and form the triangular area. This is triangular area, it is called as the trigone. This is called as trigone. This is triangular area called as trigone, and this triangular area at the exact opposite to the piercing of the urethra, this is the urethra, piercing of the urethra, there is a fold that is called as uveal vesicae, which shows elevation, that is called as uveal vesicae. And base of, this is the base, this base is formed by the intrauterine ridge or bar of Mercier. Interureteric ridge or bar of the Mercier. This base is formed by the ureteric ridge and bar of the Mercier. Okay. What is the trigone? If we see the interior structure of the urinary bladder, which is thrown into the manifold because the mucosa of this is loosely attached to the wall of the muscular coat. At the base of the muscular coat, this mucosa becomes smooth, and that's why this thrown into the triangular area called as trigone. And opposite to the piercing of the urethra, there is a elevation, that is of the fold, that is the uveal vesicae, and in between the base, that is the interureteric ridge or bar of the Mercier. Base is formed by interureteric ridge and bar of the Mercier, and this is surrounding to the urethra. This is the prostate, which is only present into the male, not in the female. This is the trigone of the urinary bladder. Then capacity of the bladder in males 220 ml, varying from 120 to 320 ml. Filling beyond 220 ml cause desire to micturate. After 220 ml, one can desire for the micturation. Filling up to the 500 ml may be tolerated, but beyond this it becomes painful. Refer pain felt in the lower part of the anterior abdomen and wall of the perineum and penis. The capacity is a 220 ml, 120 to 320, and filling beyond the 220 ml, one can desire for the micturation. Filling up to the 500 ml, it become maybe tolerant, but beyond this becomes painful, and refer pain are into the abdomen, perineum, and also the penis because of the nerve supply T11 to L2 and S2 to S4. That's why the beyond the 500 ml it is become painful. Then blood supply, superior and inferior vesical arteries, then obturator and inferior gluteal arteries. In female, from uterine and vaginal arteries also. In female, uterine branches of the uterine artery and vaginal arteries. Venous drainage, vesicle venous plexus. These are the arterial supply. What are the superior and inferior vesical artery, obturator and inferior gluteal arteries in female from uterine and vaginal arteries. Nerve supply, parasympathetic fibers from the S2 to S4, that is segment, sacral segment 2 to 4, and sympathetic T11 to L2 segment, thoracic L1 to L2. Then somatic pudendal nerve and sensory nerve. Now here we see the sympathetic nerve supply, that is T11 and L2 segment from T11 and L2, and this is the parasympathetic supply, that is S2 to S4 segment, and also pudendal nerve, and also by the somatic pudendal nerve. These are the nerve supply: parasympathetic from S2 to S4, sympathetic from T11 to L2, somatic pudendal nerve, and sensory nerve. These are the nerve supply of the urinary bladder. Clinical anatomy. Clinical and interior of the bladder can be examined by the cystoscope. If you are for the examination, you can put the cystoscope into the urinary bladder, and by putting the cystoscope we can see the interior of the urinary bladder. Distended bladder may be ruptured by the injury of lower abdominal wall. If any injury to the lower abdominal wall, bladder, if there is a distended bladder, it may be get rupture. Hypertrophy of the bladder, there may be the hypertrophy of the bladder. In operation of suprapubic cystotomy, bladder is distended with 300 ml of fluid. If you are going to operation for the cystotomy, at that time the bladder should be distended, and for that we put the 300 ml of the fluid. As a result, anterior aspect of the bladder comes into the direct contact with the anterior abdominal wall and can be approached without entering to the peritoneal cavity. Why this is done? Because of the by putting the 300 ml of the fluid into the bladder get distended, and anterior aspect of the bladder comes in direct contact to the anterior abdominal wall. By this we can directly approach to the to the urinary bladder without entering to the peritoneal cavity. These are the anatomical clinical anatomy of the urinary bladder. Now we completed here the anatomy of the urinary bladder. Thank you.